I was just having way too much sex. So yeah, I just started my OnlyFans about 1.5 years ago. And that's when I have a problem. And then I had to take it to HR. When I think of how my story should have been told, I feel like they kind of shadowed me out.
All right, everybody, we are Sex Positivity Unfiltered. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Lindsay Murray.
And I'm Denise Stratton. And we have a very special guest for you today. We have Tressa Silguero in the house, also known as Stella May.
Yes, and she was in a Netflix documentary called Hot Girls Wanted, which we did both watch. So we're excited to talk about. Hot Girls Wanted is a documentary about the amateur porn industry. And, we have her here today to talk about her experience in the industry. And Tressa, I know you got out of the industry, but now you're back in it. So do you mind sharing with us, what you're doing now?
Yeah, I just started my OnlyFans about 1.5 years ago. I'm enjoying it. It's just been kind of a little bit more different than what I was expecting, to be honest. I thought it was gonna really be a little bit more tedious. Thought I was gonna have to post a lot more or anything like that. But no, it's actually a really easy platform to use.
All right, perfect. Well, we're excited to get into it.
Let's get into it. All
right.
I know it's been like a decade for you to go back and reflect. But how was your experience with it? Did you know that you were going to be in a documentary straight out the bat?
So I had no idea I was actually going to be in a documentary. I just got on a plane and just got into the industry. And then I want to say within maybe a couple weeks later, we had these 2 ladies that wanted to film a documentary that Rashida Jones was going to be producing. So my agent, Riley, at the time was like, oh, well, this will give me great publicity.
Oh, I bet it did.
Just blew up him so much that he's comfortable now. He's comfortable now. But I knew exactly what I was doing the moment I got on that plane. So I was looking forward to it. I just didn't think I was going to be in a documentary going through this and my whole experience being recorded.
How was the recruitment process like? You just saw it on Craigslist. I kind of saw that a little bit in the...
Yeah, so I did answer an ad on Craigslist for a free flight to Miami. All things paid for. The description was something like nude photography and video recording. So it didn't necessarily say porn, but those are the descriptions of porn. And once I got in contact with Riley, he was sending me the companies that I would be potentially working for. So Mofos, Reality Kings, Bang Bus, all of them, or Bang Bros. So it just depended on how I felt at the moment. 19 years old, wanting to just break free.
Mm-hmm.
So I took my chance.
Oh yeah, girl.
I just wasn't expecting a documentary to come out about it. Truly, I thought I was going to be able to go under the radar or anything, but no.
How did it make you feel when you 2 weeks in you realized this is going to be a documentary? What were you thinking at the time?
I was already having the time of my life. I was already living up. I was happy, so I didn't mind. I didn't care. I really didn't. I was like, oh well, they need a documentary. I'm more than happy to give them raw footage and whatever they have any questions, just let me know. Talk to me about it.
You were down with my experience from start all the way to...
Oh yeah, I was the phrase, I was balls deep.
Hey.
I was balls deep in that moment. I got on that plane, I was not going to change my mind about anything. So man, I was one reckless 19-year-old.
Girl, aren't we all? Let's not even talk about our 20s.
Oh man.
Oh, interesting. So how long was the filming process take? How long, because in the documentary it was only 1.5 hours for us, but how long
so filming was about, I want to say 9 months, maybe 9 to 12 months of filming. And then I want to say they stopped filming around the summertime once I moved in with Kendall, and it took them about maybe 8 months to get ready for the film festival in Utah.
Wow.
So that's where they pitched it to Netflix, and Netflix bought it.
Wow. Okay, that's a huge deal. And for anyone who's listening who hasn't seen the documentary, Tressa, obviously you were in it, but there was other women who were in it too, and then Riley, who was kind of the recruiter. He's the agent, yeah. But we got to see your relationship with Kendall, who was your boyfriend at the time, but we also got to see some of your family in the documentary. Yeah. So it was the documentary was very personal,
very
for sure.
Personal, yes. someone actually got like a little peep eye into my life on that part of that chapter of my life. So it was a little nerve-wracking coming back home, but for the most part, yeah, it was a very personal documentary.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and completely your life, because we didn't really go into the lives of, I believe it's Rachel or
Rachel,
any of the other
Ava. So I can't believe I've actually gotten like catfished by Rachel, like someone playing her. They would like be like, hey, I know we haven't talked in like years, but I just wanted to see how you were doing. Played it off like it was her, and it wasn't. It was just some like creepy old man. I'm like, all right, bro. Like, if you could have just like been honest, I would have probably still talked to you. But like, you were trying to portray some other person that I hadn't seen in over 5 years. Like, you don't do that.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
That's not right.
It can get sketchy. Just internet makes it to where like you can put on a mask pretty
Oh,
well.
absolutely.
Do you get recognized from the documentary or now, or did you then too?
The last time I got recognized was at ACL. It was the first time I had worked the bars, and I had this kindergarten teacher just like bawl her eyes out in front of me. She's like, I know you. And I'm like, okay, but can I get you a margarita or a wine or something? And she's like, I just love the documentary. You're an inspiration. Like, I truly like look up to you, and you're just so sweet. Like, you have such a nice family. I hope you get everything that you want in life. And I'm like, all right, thank you so much. But I'm trying to be like a normal person.
Yeah.
Have like a normal life, go to work, not really get asked those kind of questions, you know? I just don't find that to be quite professional for me.
Right.
So like, anytime someone does approach me when I was working, it's just like, all right, you need to calm down. We're not talking about this. But if you want, just hit me up on Instagram. We can talk more about that.
Oh,
but
really?
just not in person while I'm working.
Was it like coworkers or was it like
it was customers?
Bosses?
Customers.
No
Customers.
way.
Yeah,
Oh,
customers.
Yeah, because around the time that you were my fun fact, guys, she used to be my boss. You know, in a little restaurant that I used to work. My first
We go
bartending
back.
gig.
We go back.
We do. But yeah, that's so interesting because I do know that I think the documentary came out like maybe a couple of years before you started as managing.
It came out in 2014 and I became a manager in 2015. So it was like 2016. So yeah.
Okay.
2 years.
So I guess it's kind of recent. It's on people's minds. So yeah, it makes sense why you would get recognized. So nowadays, does it affect your professional life? Like if you had any of your bosses or employers see it after the fact?
I was working for a big grocery company at a warehouse in San Marcos, and somehow my stuff got leaked. And I don't know if you've ever been in a warehouse, but it's practically like 90% men.
Of course,
yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool. Now every man in this building knows what my body looks like under my clothes. This is not comfortable. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But the moment someone approaches me about it, then that's when I have a problem. And then I had to take it to HR. The HR person was actually a man, and he was completely like dumbfounded. He was like, huh?
I don't know how to deal with
He's
this.
He's like, huh? And I'm like, I just don't want to get harassed. I don't want to like be bothered by it. I don't care if people talk about it. I don't want to hear about it though. I don't want people coming and talking to me like so-and-so said. And it's like, and he's like, well, if that happens, just let me know. We'll write him up. They will eventually like have to like leave you alone. I'm like, okay, cool.
So just to kind of bring it back forward to what you're doing now, what would you say, what brought you back into the industry and what's your niche?
I would say what brought me back would be I felt like I was losing a little bit of my creative side, to be honest. Like my artistic like side, because I think the human body is just absolutely gorgeous. So why not take pictures of it? Why not film it? Why not do beautiful things? Like,
yeah.
But I prefer to like do mainly solos. So it's just mainly me, or I will have a guy with me or a dildo. But for the most part, it's just solos and boy girl.
That's what you prefer?
No. What I prefer is girl. But it's so hard to find girls to play with because they are very modest or they're shy. They don't want to be on camera or they just don't know what to do.
Interesting. I would assume because
Okay, you can assume that. Okay, you can assume that. You have game. I don't have game like you. Okay.
But from the industry, thank you, by the way. From the industry, it seemed like a lot of women, no matter their sexuality, actually prefer to work with women. From what I've seen, because I've done a little research before starting coming here.
Way more pleasurable.
Really?
I was just going to ask why that preference would be there. And that's a big reason why.
Mm-hmm. Pleasure. It just feels a lot better because in the industry, when you're filming, the angle of how the dick goes inside of you is not always that pleasant because they have to get that open shot or like that spot to like really see the insert and it coming in and out, like have to get it all, but it's not always the most comfortable position.
It's all about film angles.
It's all about just seeing it.
Okay.
Like they just have to get a good view of it and you just got to open up and take a dick to the hip, I guess. That's all I really can say.
Oh, wow. I guess I never thought about that. Just like the comfort aspect or the difference in comfort levels.
Yeah. Whereas when you're with a female, we are very well at reading our bodies. So it's like, it's a lot more enjoyable. You actually climax and it just, for me, feels better.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense to me.
So is there a good level of acting, I would say, whenever you're performing in your scenes? And
I don't really act in my scenes. What you see is what you get.
Oh, okay.
I'll be honest. What you see is what you get.
I like that. Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of reality, or as far as your reaction, it's authentic.
Mm-hmm. It's all real. I don't fake my orgasms. I just can't because I feel like you could see it on my face if I tried.
Do you think a lot of people do? Like a lot of people who are filmed, do you think they do?
If they do, they do. But
yeah.
I mean, that's on them. If they can fake it, all to them. But I prefer not to.
Which I think is great. Like we were just talking about this actually about like how like in some porn the reaction or the orgasm can be like so exaggerated, like you can tell it's not real. And it is a lot more fun to watch like as a viewer if you feel like it's more authentic, realistic, that is how it really genuine. Yeah.
Like Riley said in the documentary, you basically give the guy a camera and then you just tell them all to just go have fun. So you get that really nice raw realistic, this could, from his perspective, this could be me, like type thing. And it's really enjoyable. So
absolutely.
I could see that.
So speaking of Riley, what was your relationship like with him? We saw a little bit of it on the documentary, but
I mean, from what I could tell, we had a good relationship. We never really bumped heads. We communicated.
Okay.
I mean, I never really had any issues except for like that one shooting where it was like, I didn't know it was a cream pie shooting. And when I showed up, they're like, yeah. And I'm like, what? No. So I call Riley and he's like, oh, I thought you knew. I'm like, what? No, I'm not on birth control. I can't. And he's like, well, they'll give you plan B. I was like, I don't want to do that though.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, well, do you want to do it? I was like, let me talk to him. Let's see if we can figure out a plan. And we ended up like doing the pastry or like that turkey sucker thing. Filling it up with the coconut stuff and shooting it up me and making it look like someone came in me. That's like the only thing I've ever faked on camera. I'll be honest. That's the only thing.
But that's like a good boundary that you had though. I mean, you had to speak up and say, I'm not going to do that.
I wasn't on birth control. I wasn't on anything. So it's like, I don't want to put something to throw off my whole cycle and my hormones. So it's like, no, let's get creative. Let's figure something out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as far as like when you first started the amateur, what was Riley's role? How was he your coworker? What did he do?
He would be the one to reach out to companies to book me. He would take a 20% cut of whatever I made. And I paid him rent because we lived in a model house. Okay. So I paid him rent with that. I tried my best with gas money, but sometimes he wouldn't drive me and someone else, like one of the other models, would be driving. So it just depends. But for the most part, our relationship was really good. I mean, we didn't have any bad blood. Like, he understood whenever I was telling him, like, hey, I'm not coming back. He understood. He wasn't, like, negative. He wasn't ugly towards me. He's like, it's okay. I understand.
Good.
So, and he was very kind enough to pack all of my stuff that was still in my room and ship that box to my house to Texas. So
that's nice.
That was like that was really sweet of him because he really didn't have to do that.
Hey, so your relationship with your agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your agent,
my
was
agent.
Good.
He was also a talent as well. He was talent and agent at the same time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he would do his agent work and then also work as a talent on the side whenever he would get booked.
Wow, that's a good for him. It seems like the business model is really good because he obviously being a talent, he gets the same kind of pay scale that you guys get as far as that goes. I'm assuming.
I don't think men get paid the same as women. I don't believe
really?
they do. I don't think they do.
So is this one of the few industries where females actually there's a discrepancy where y'all are higher?
Yes and no. It just depends on the type of porn that you're getting paid to shoot. Mm-hmm. So like girl is not gonna be as much as a boy-girl scene.
Really?
Yes. Okay. Girl for me was between like $500 to $700 a shoot. Okay. And then for males, it was between like $1,000 to $1,200. Bondage was $14. Solos were $6 or $7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got to basically you're looking at these different types of gigs and just kind of deciding which pay scale or what you're comfortable with.
Well, he would book me for everything. Okay. Like, because I just wanted the exposure. I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to fuck. Mm-hmm. So it's like
19, hell yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to fuck and I wanted to make money doing it. So I was just like, book me for whatever. Just no anal. And at the time, I wasn't doing interracial or transsexuals.
Okay.
So those were my only like 3 hard no's at the time.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I actually love that you have a lot of control over the type of scenes that you like. You basically get to pick your gigs.
And that's like what was so confusing, like with me in a relationship. Like she, like Offset, she was very strong, like headstrong, silly, fun person. But on set, like I get like you're working, you want to be serious, but she wouldn't speak up whenever she felt uncomfortable.
So you're saying that as far as girls that are going into this industry, that's something that they definitely need to have.
They need to have that. They need to stick to their guns. They need to not let anyone try to convince them otherwise. Don't let money get in the way of what you are on a hard no for. Like, so what if they're gonna pay you an extra like $200-$300 for a cream pie shoot and then you get plan B on the side? It's like, no, I don't want the extra $200-$300 and a pill. No.
And the added stress that comes from it. Yeah.
I was like, I don't want that. Plus, I'm Mexican. I'm very potent. I don't want to get pregnant.
These are fertile.
Yeah. Fertile. Like, my sister has no problem. All the women in my family have no problem getting pregnant. So it's like, no, I don't want to test those waters.
Have you ever had a pregnancy scare?
Yes.
From set? Really? Okay.
Yes.
How did you come up with your like hard no's? And I'm asking that because I would imagine that's hard to determine, like, what am I comfortable with, what am I not comfortable with? Like, I don't even know how you would come up with that. Yeah.
So a little background of me, I lost my virginity when I was 13 years old. So I have a lot of experience. Before I even went into the industry, my body count was 50. I'll be honest. My body count was at 50, at 90, or at 19. So I knew what I liked. I knew what I didn't like. Right. I knew how to get myself off without anyone. So it's like I did a lot of exploring on my body. So you got to get to know your body to know what your hard no's are.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So you've always, even at a young age, you've been very sexually
active,
active and comfortable as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. That's good to know, because that was something I also had to explore as well. Being a queer lady, you kind of figure out your nose, but it takes a little bit of experimentation in order for that to
absolutely
happen. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do want to. Okay, so a little bit back to Riley. So his pay scale was basically his talent, but he also got paid 20%, and that was 20% per girl, right? Mm-hmm. So. Wow. So, and then on top of that, you guys pay the expenses of the living house. Expenses and everything. So it's a really good position for him to be the recruiter. But he always treated you guys with respect.
Yeah, he never once disrespected me. I've never once felt like, oh, well, that was ugly of Riley. Like, ugh. Like, I've never once felt that way. Like, we all can be assholes. We can all be a dick. But for the most part, like, he was a good guy. Like, he never did me wrong. He always, got me work whenever I needed it. So it's like, I have no bad blood between Riley and I.
No, I love it. And I love, because I feel like that's a rewarding thing in the industry, is to treat your girls really well, because then you guys are happy and you guys are wanting to work for him for longer and better. Okay, and then going back to the hard nose, I'm curious if there are any consequences to, like, okay, so you get to a scene, you're there, they've booked you, everyone, the film
I'm already
ready,
hair, makeup ready to go,
and then you find out that there was a misunderstanding somewhere, and you find out that there's something that you don't want to do, so you tell them no. Is there any consequences, anything like that?
I mean, you just don't get paid. But
Like, does it mess with your reputation?
It mainly messes. It's not the talent's fault. It will always be the agent, because unless the talent is actually doing the bookings themselves, then it will fall back on the talent. But it will always go through the agent or the company that the agent works for. Then that's kind of like, all right, well, they did this one time, let's put a mark, and if it keeps happening, we won't work for them, kind of thing. That's how I would do it.
Gotcha.
As a businesswoman, from like, if that was happening to me, I was trying to make content and girls were like, oh no, like that's not what we discussed, I'd be like, all right, well.
Oh, that's between them and the agent. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, all right, well, I won't book you if this keeps happening over and over and over again, because
you're just time and money.
Exactly. It's like, I will find a girl that will do it.
One thing I do want to definitely ask you, because you said you were always in control. You were always with you were pretty much in control what you wanted to do. Was there any scenes that you ever did that made you physically uncomfortable?
I'd probably say physically uncomfortable was probably riding the motorcycle naked down. That was probably the most uncomfortable thing, because it was hot leather.
Oh, girl.
I'm like, hot leather on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think when you're, I think of like,
painful.
even if you're like wearing shorts, like your leg like sticks to it, but it's like your vulva.
Yeah.
It sticks to it. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. It's rough. Okay.
Physically uncomfortable.
What about ethically? Any that you're like, don't know if I felt right with this
one. When they just get a little too old.
I'm
just like, oh, I shouldn't do this.
Oh, because I guess I did see in the documentary there were some practices where the scenes were kind of like them trying to like convince you. It's an older guy who's trying to convince the
manipulation.
younger,
manipulate them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I remember that too from the documentary. It was like, I feel like that's like a sought after scene where like the girl is a virgin and she doesn't really want to say yes.
She's in trouble, or like just in a tie with something, and she doesn't know what else to do. And he's like, well, I could do this. I could help you, but you gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can fix your car, but
you gotta fix me first. Kind of thing.
Interesting. Okay. But now, since you have OnlyFans, you decide the scenes. Do you have any plot lines in what you're... No. So literally, it's just, let's get down to business.
Like, I will set up my above the bed camera. I'll have 2 cameras set on each corner, and then we'll just do whatever the fuck I want, like, or whatever he wants. Like, I don't really want to put limitations or make it so like we're gonna do this, and that.
And here's how it has to start, and here's how it has to end, and
exactly.
Here's okay.
It's like, no, let's just have fun. I want all the angles so I can cut and edit wherever I want to, and it just be completely authentic and genuine.
And you get to do all the editing yourself.
Yep, I do all the editing.
Yourself.
I do all of the work myself.
Wow.
I don't allow anyone to take over my OnlyFans. No.
And as someone who does get to edit, and Lindsay's also getting into video editing too, there is that, I don't know, that creative, like your creative juices are flowing whenever you're sitting there like, all right, this angle, this thing, oh, that looks good.
It's like, oh, we moved to this position. Let me go to this camera right here.
Yeah, you can
back and forth.
You can make it look however you want it to look. Yes. I like your perspective on, like, you kind of just do whatever the fuck you want, right? Like that's what you're gonna film. And I say that like as a sex therapist with clients in their personal life very much have all the shoulds in their own sex life. Like, it should start this way. It should be like intercourse. We both should have an orgasm. Here's how it shouldn't. Like, people have like this there's like this expectation, like, here's how it has to go every time. And then when it doesn't, it's like this big disappointment. And then they get nervous to even try to engage in sex. And it doesn't matter how long they've been together. Like, it's easy to get caught up in even in personal lives, like, sex should be this way and it's not happening that way. And then like, there's no fun in there. for them.
Yeah.
So I just found that interesting. I'm like, yeah, that's how it should be, is just what's going to be fun, even if things don't go according to plan, right?
Exactly. And it's like, sex should be fun to where you should be able to like do something and giggle about it and it still be like, all right, we're getting this going. Like, it shouldn't have to be scripted. It shouldn't have to be like bullet points. It's like, let me read your body language. You read mine. Let's have fun.
Oh, I love that. Because I agree with Lindsay. It seems like a lot of sex in like in your personal life in the world, whenever you're with a partner at first, it's very mission based. Like we're here, we know the acts that we need, we know the positions that can get you to come quickly.
It's goal oriented around the orgasm. Yes. It's like, if you would just have fun, the orgasm will come. If it's gonna happen,
not multiple ones.
Right. If you just like let it naturally happen, maybe you'll get so caught up in like, it's taking too long and why haven't we, it's so much anxiety,
stress
wrapped up in it.
Too much. It should be so much fun to do. Like, you shouldn't have to like go into the bedroom and be like, all right, babe, roll over.
Yeah.
Fair. So, I mean, it seems like your OnlyFans is very much authentic. It's also very much you just having fun and kind of filming it and showing it out.
Yep,
so
that's my life.
Hey, actually,
I was like, that's the way I live my life.
Girl, kudos. So would you say you have way more fun now than you did whenever it was when you were actually in the industry working for other companies?
It's 50-50.
Okay.
I love that I'm able to create whatever I choose to put out on the work or on my OnlyFans. I love that I have that outlet just to do whatever I want. The only downfall is that I don't travel as much as I used to whenever I was in the industry, and that is what got my high. Was traveling, seeing different places, going and just meeting so many new people. Like, I crave that. Okay. I'm always craving adventure and just to explore, see new things, meet new people.
So what you're saying is like the companies going through like agencies, they actually give you more access.
Yes,
to like
because I'm flying to either Florida or I'm going to Vegas or Cali. Like, you just never know. Like, and you can film practically anywhere in California.
Okay, so as far as like the travel and the exciting part and the getting to meet new people, going out, are those expenses that you took care of yourself?
Yes, I had to pay for my own flights. I had to pay for my own like hotels or anything like that. The only thing I didn't really have to pay for was my driver. So that's like the one thing I didn't have to pay for. Okay. Or at least the driver didn't tell me I had to pay him. I'd just get in.
Yeah.
Like, here's this is where you're going. Hop out. All right. Thanks.
Cool. Okay. So did those expenses eat into a lot of your revenue that you were making from the scenes?
Yeah, just about. And like, I was also sending money to my family during that too, because like, I mean, they were comfortable. They were comfortable then. They were comfortable now. But I just felt, I guess it was my guilty conscience eating at me. Like, I felt bad. I'm like, oh, here you go though. Take care of groceries, bills, gas, whatever. And my mom and dad were very appreciative of it, but they just didn't like what I was doing to get it.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's something I did want to ask about, because in the documentary, it was, I mean, your mom made it pretty obvious she was not happy about it, even in the documentary. And like, there was a scene maybe towards the end of it where it was like Kendall, who was your partner at the time, and then your mom, and they're both talking about it, and it seemed like you felt
ganged up
on pressure to get out of the that's what I was really most curious about, is like that decision to get out of the industry at that time. Did you feel like it was really your decision, or did you feel like they're not really giving me a choice?
Yeah, I didn't have a choice, because they gave me an ultimatum. They were like, if you don't get out, you're not gonna have a family that's going to be here when you come back. You're not going to have a man that loves you and that puts you first. He's going to take off. Like, my mom was just so mean about that.
She got an ultimatum, yeah.
Mean.
Well, they threatened you're not going to have any support if you keep doing this.
Yeah. They're like, if you go, practically just don't come back, pretty much. And I'm like, I look at my boyfriend, Kendall, and he's just like, yeah, I'm on your mom's side with this one. I was like, yeah, but like 2 days ago, we were like laying in bed and you were like, if it makes you happy, babe, that's all that matters. That's all that mattered to him before he met my mom and dad.
So he changed his tune pretty quickly.
Whole 180 within like an hour.
Wow.
My mom convinced him, because she's just like, you really want to have a wife that fucks other men and women on camera and then gets paid for it? You're okay with that? How do you think your parents are going to feel knowing that, like, that's what...
So they were shaming him as well.
Oh, my mom was just like, really? You want
God.
that for your life? All right.
I think she even asked a question like that on the documentary. I might be recalling it incorrectly, but it was something like she's talking to Kendall and she's like, how do you date someone who does this? And you're sitting right there and it's like...
I don't mean to be rude to you or anything. How can you date someone? Like, how can you?
I hate it. I completely hate it.
He hates it, Mom. Trust me,
Okay.
he hates
I hate
it.
it. And I want her to stop.
Like that... Ooh, that conversation was... That was horrible.
It was
It
brutal,
was
and
an
it's
hour and a half conversation, and they only took that
3 minutes of it, maybe that long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Girl.
It was.
Yeah.
Oof, that was one hell of a time.
And so you got out of the industry for pretty much a decade almost.
Yes, pretty much.
And then ended up going back. So I mean, again, girl, I'm getting a lot of parallels to coming out in the queer industry and the queer experience as well, where you'll sit down with your family, you have a lifestyle that you really makes you happy, makes you really want to be there, and unfortunately your family doesn't understand. So because they think usually that you're gonna go to hell if you do this lifestyle, right? So they give you this ultimatum of like, are you sure you want to, risk all eternity, lose your entire family because we won't be here? In order
So
to
much
do this
fear.
lifestyle?
It's like fear-based shame.
And so that's what
God.
puts a lot of people back in the closet for years
until their parents pass away, and then they
Basically.
come out when they're in their 50s, and then they finally get to live like a happy
Finally get to be
life.
happy.
Yeah, they get to like find the partner that they've been wanting, or they finally get to take him out of hiding because they've probably been in secret.
Yeah.
It's just like,
No, I relate to that parallel for sure. So do you feel like you basically were in the closet for those 9 years where you were out of the industry?
yeah, I was in the slut closet, I guess. I was just like, fuck, the fucking closet, man.
Suppressing these like wants and desires.
And
and
just
everything.
like not being able to really do what I want to do and also do that with my partner.
Okay.
Because I've learned in my 20s, dating and marriage, it's just not for me. And I don't want to have kids anyways. I have 13 nieces and nephews. So it's like I'm a grade A aunt. I'm great with birthdays, Christmases. Those are my kids. My
and
part-time kids.
You get to, I was about to say, you get to give them back. At the end of the day, spoil
exactly.
them and drop them back
and I
off.
have 2 dogs, so it's like I got a lot on my plate. I don't need a baby. I don't need a man. I want one sometimes, but only whenever I want to just like cuddle.
So are you single right now?
Yes, I am single.
Does being in the industry affect your personal life?
Yes, it does. Yes, because I actually had to block someone. Well, not like on my phone or anything like that, but like I just had to like block off my emotions for him because he liked me. He liked everything about me, but he just didn't like that I was in the industry. He didn't like that I have an OnlyFans. He didn't like that I didn't want to get married or have kids. So it's like, all right, well, those 4 are pretty like important. So like I had to just like stop investing emotions into that man. So that was like a setback. So it's not that bad, but it's just like, damn it, he was a good one. Good one. He was a good one.
It's hard.
You
will. It's hard when you like them, but there's like all those incompatibilities, or like they don't like what you do, but you like what you do, so you're not gonna stop.
Exactly.
Have you ever dated anyone else in the industry?
No.
Okay.
I came close, but I was a little too young for him at the time.
Aw.
And that's okay.
What about dating life when you were out of the industry, like not when you were in it?
I would say I actually wouldn't tell them until like I felt like I could trust them with that kind of information, and them not be like, oh, you were in the industry? Oh yeah.
Really?
We should.
There were reactions like that?
There were
Okay,
guys
girl.
that would just do that. It's like, yeah, but like I don't
I've heard
I wait
so
a long time before I tell them.
yeah, and I could see why you would because we were just talking about I don't know if you've ever heard of Royal Fetish Films, but I know like Saying Jasmine and King Noir, like they're over Royal Fetish Films, like they have their own production company. But King Noir, he says something like, just because I've fucked other people does not mean I want to fuck you. Don't assume that just because I'm in porn that like you're
I'm gonna
automatically
fuck anyone.
game. Yeah, and that's what I think of. Like people just have that assumption. Like, well, you do it all the time. Why? Like,
That
let's
actually happened to
go.
me yesterday.
So yeah, I want to kind of get back to OnlyFans and that business model. So how does that work? Because I've never been on OnlyFans. I don't really know the platform. So I know there's a paywall that they have to subscribe, correct?
Yes and no. You can set up your account to either be free to subscribe or you can put a dollar amount. I think the lowest that you can do is like $3.99 a month on a subscription.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, that's
for
like
your
I think
favorite
the low.
creator. That's a bargain. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that can go from $3.99 to I've seen the most $50 a month. And I'm like, I'm kind of curious. You've sparked my curiosity. What is worth $50 a month on your profile? Like sometimes I just get a little curious. But yeah, it's like either free or you pay. OnlyFans does take 20% of every sale that the creator makes.
Okay.
So if I sell something for $100, they take 20.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I mean, that's go OnlyFans because they basically have this platform where all the creators get to make content for them and they get a nice little pay cut for it just by having the platform. So
yeah.
But
you can't just post anything on OnlyFans. Like they do have restrictions. Like you can't
No way.
Yes, you cannot just post anything. Like you just can't.
Like what are some of the restrictions? Because I'm thinking.
Well, I found out one, and I didn't realize it until they flagged me, and they're like, "This is not appropriate content for OnlyFans. Please delete." And I'm like, "Damn, can't post that."
Okay.
I forgot what the term was, but this gentleman asked me for a very disgusting video of me going to the restroom.
Oh, okay. So like brown showers are not allowed, or like
urinating, stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's stuff that
because I do know that's a fetish.
You can't shoot out in public, or else your shit will get flagged and they won't post it. Because if there's anyone in the background, or if it looks like a public place, it's illegal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It would make sense. Anything that's illegal, that would make sense why they would want to take down.
But with porn in the industry, you could have sex outside and film it. Like you can do it in the industry, you just can't do it on the OnlyFans platform.
It has to be liability reasons. I'm assuming in the industry they've not really vet, but they know the laws.
Especially Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, they know the law to the T. They know the eyes, everything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Do you think it's anything to do with like? Because I know this. I think this was like a couple years ago, but I know OnlyFans was shut down for a time, or they were not. Yeah, it was like we're not going to allow, or maybe not shut down, but it was like we're not going to allow any nudity or something like that.
They were going to take away practically like the porn aspect of OnlyFans. They were going to remove all adult talents because they didn't want that platform. But the moment that they shut down the platform, they noticed that over 60% of their creators were adult content makers.
Yeah.
So it's like you're going to lose
so much money and so many subscribers. Yeah.
So yeah. But I wasn't a part of that. I wasn't in it during that time.
Because it was a little while ago. I don't remember exactly when. But yeah, I wonder if that's part, like when it came back, I wonder if they put even some restrictions to, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know. Why would that? Because don't get me wrong. I do know that there's certain OnlyFans producers who like do feet, or they do just pictures of them eating, or just certain things like that. So I do know that there's a lot of creators that aren't. There's no nudity. There's no adult content, but OnlyFans is synonymous with adult content. So that's crazy that they would even make that decision.
And that's why people are going on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to get a little. I want to get to know you a little bit better, Miss Tressa. So,
Okay.
This is a sex positive podcast, and so
We don't kink shame here, right?
No,
good.
absolutely not.
We don't do that.
No. But yeah, what sex positivity is basically, it preaches, safe sex practices, all inclusivity, all types of kinks, all types of bodies, lifestyles, things like that. It also preaches fairness in the industry. We're pro porn,
Equity,
like
yeah.
So all of those things. So I'm curious what your sex education was like, both in home and in school. So let's start with home. Did you have sex education at home?
Yes, my mom and I and my sister, not really my dad, but we talked about sex just because like my mom didn't want me and my sister to get pregnant in high school or not be able to like graduate. Like she wanted us, she's like, I just want you guys to get through school without getting pregnant and just graduate. If you go to college, cool. If not, I don't care. Go work. But she's like, that is just like my only goal right now is just to get you guys through high school without getting pregnant.
How old were you?
How old was I when
when you got your sex education?
I want to say I was probably close to like 7.
Okay, so
8.
young.
Yeah,
So
I was exposed to sex at a very young age. I saw my first porno whenever I was like 8.
No way.
So yeah,
it was like pay-per-view. Like
it was a DVD. It was a DVD, and I'm just like, why is he doing that? Why is she making those noises? Oh my god, what is going on? Like freaking out. Like no.
No, mine was shocking. Mine was a little magazine. It was like, maybe like a foot long. Like it was just tiny little magazine that my dad left out on the toilet or something at one. And I remember opening it and then seeing like his ginormous member, and I was like, oh, okay, put this back.
No, we don't look at that.
Very shocking when I was younger too. Okay, so you were about 7, 8 whenever she sat you down and kind of, was she very scientific about it, or?
She was just like, your body's gonna start changing. You're gonna start getting body hair. Some parts of your body, it's normal. You're gonna start getting cramps. That's normal. Talk to me when it starts happening. We'll go get you your first training bra. Like, I think that's when we actually started talking more about sex, is when I got my first training bra. I think about it. So, yeah.
And do you look back at that and think that was a correct approach for her to kind of, because obviously you didn't get pregnant in high school, so that part worked.
Yeah.
Oh, you did get, okay, never mind.
So yeah, I did get pregnant at 15, but obviously aborted it because my mom and...
You're 15.
Yeah, I'm 15, can't support a child or baby. I'm still one myself, so it's like...
Yeah.
But yeah, I was 15. That was a lot of emotional distress on me.
Yeah.
I was so confused. I didn't know what was happening and why I was so upset, but like I was just an emotional wreck afterwards. So I wouldn't get another one if I ever did get pregnant though. Again.
Okay.
That's what birth control is for.
Oh yeah, girl.
IUD. It's the strongest one. I vouch for that.
Oh yeah, your hetero contraptions, yes. Okay, so that was your sex education.
And then in school was just,
Did you get any?
Yeah, the first time I did was in 6th grade.
Okay.
6th grade, well, no, 4th grade.
Yeah, that's me too.
Pads. Okay. Pads were the discussion. Tampons.
So no sex at all?
No sex. It was just period.
Okay.
Just like periods, and like for boys, like body hair. That was the only thing in like their body, and then their thing does stuff in the morning. Oh, like that was really it for them. And then for us, it was just like periods, about pads and tampons and stuff like that, and body hair. And then middle school is when they started doing like the slideshows, like this is your ovary, that's your cervix, and like all of that, like actually educating us about our anatomy, which was cool. But for the most part, like they didn't tell us like abstinence is key. I never once heard that come from a teacher's mouth.
Interesting.
Never.
And it was in Texas, right? You grew up in Texas? Okay.
New Braunfels.
Hey, girl.
That is such a unique experience. Yeah. I feel like mine was abstinence only. It was like too uncomfortable to talk about, even from the teacher. So it was just very kind of glazed over, like bare minimum. We can check off that we talked about it, but
we said these words.
Yeah.
We made these bullet points, and that's enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you guys got way more than I did. Mine was 3rd, 4th grade, and I just remember it was all reproduction. It was the pads, it was the periods, and that was it. And then I never received it middle school, high school, nothing like that.
Dang.
So yeah, and I had a health course in high school. You would figure that they would have.
Yeah, I was like, I did a health course too, and they still talked about sex.
We talked about STIs, so we would do like, anything sexually transmitted and how that would work, and then different types of STIs. But other than that, no, that was my sex education was very limited in school. I got most of mine from home, which was similar to yours. I knew how sex worked and procreation worked when I was around 5, 6, 7.
See,
So going from the sex education, growing up, so you were very sexually active through your teenage years. Did that affect your personal relationships as far as dating or anything in high school?
I didn't really date in high school.
Okay.
I did have boyfriends from now and again, but for the most part, like, I didn't really date.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your partners were just kind of like one-offs, like let's have some fun. And...
Yeah, just booty call.
Okay.
1-time thing, 2-time thing, sometimes 3.
And was it always pleasurable, or did it kind of work out?
I was still learning my body at the time, so like I was still trying to figure out like, I don't really like that one, or like, oh, I like doing this, but not for too long. Like I was learning a lot about my body, but I didn't have sex with anyone until I was 13, but I was able to climax by 12.
Oh, with your own body.
Yeah, I was able to do it all for myself at the age of 12.
Oh, so you knew what an orgasm felt like before you even had
before I even had a
okay.
penis inside me. Yeah, I knew what it felt like, but I was never able to get that orgasm that I was able to give myself from someone else. So I was like trying to find that growing up. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm 19. I've already gone through 50 people. Like, I guess I'll just join the industry. Like, there's got to be something out there that I can, like, enjoy. I love having sex, but I want to enjoy it more. I want to learn more about my body and just explore. So
I like that. So your first orgasm with a partner wasn't until in the industry?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Which I feel like is very common. Figuring out how to make that happen with a partner took a lot of exploring, a lot of different experiences, and it took years for me personally.
Yeah.
Even girl, which you would figure we kind of know each other's anatomy a little bit, but no, still, everyone's different. We
still like different things.
Exactly.
It's a different experience when there's someone else there, as opposed to you getting yourself off.
Okay. So would you say that you got a lot of that education from experience, or was it from like watching porn and that? Because I do know a lot of people use porn for their education in anatomy.
I didn't really watch porn growing up. Like maybe like once in a while, but for the most part, like I used my imagination to get off.
Okay.
Plus, my parents were like, "Don't use up all your minutes. You're using up all the internet, all the gigabytes. You can't, like back in the day.
No, not enough data to watch porn.
Not enough data to watch porn on my phone, and the computer was in their room, so it's like, can't really watch that.
Yeah. That was back when you use the internet, the phone line goes down.
Yep.
So
You have to take the phone out.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. God, showing our ages right now. Okay, so back into the industry, because I'm a little bit curious as far as in the documentary, we did see some not really body shaming, but we did see a little bit of your body kind of being showcased.
I would almost say it was body shaming, and maybe you didn't feel that way, but like as a viewer, there was, and I'm not even saying the intention was body shaming, but there was like the scene I think about is like the photographer, and it's like, maybe not with the photographer, but it's like, she's not toned enough here, and she looks a little pudgy there or whatever. And so it was like, I don't know if you would classify that as body shaming, but as a viewer, I was like, oh man, that's gotta be hard to hear comments about your body like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It does take a toll on you, but for the most part, I mean, I knew where my weight was. I knew I was getting a little heavy, but at the same time, I didn't give a fuck.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I was still getting booked. I was still making money. So it's like,
and you still looked great, by the way. Like as a viewer, I was like, I'm not understanding.
But they prefer, I think, women that are just like super, super tiny with like no fat on their stomach and like just a fat ass and big tits, or probably no tits or no ass, but just petite, very thin women. I guess like the modeling industry as well.
they did seem to cater towards more like the teen scenes.
Yes,
which I
the
would
younger,
assume the skinnier, almost not busty would
Mm-hmm.
be better for that type of
Mm-hmm.
scene. Okay, so body shaming. So you wouldn't say that, or is that pretty common for them to comment on your body? Was a very common thing, or this one scene?
I
was
mean,
just
if they made the comment towards me, I didn't really give a fuck.
Okay.
I didn't really care. I know with some other girls, they might be like, okay, well, I guess I need to go to the gym today, or like I need to like eat a salad or something. I don't know, like what girls do when they think that they need to lose weight.
Crazy.
But me, I'm like, I'm comfortable in my skin. I feel good in my body. And obviously there's going to be a man out there that's going to jack off to me. So it's like, so it's like, it doesn't matter if I'm like 10 pounds heavier than this skinny bitch. Guess what? There's going to be there's going to be many men that are going to want to just watch me. So
Yeah.
it's like,
And that's
So
one thing that
what?
was confusing to me, because with the access of the internet versus like magazines and
Mhm.
DVDs and all this stuff, it seems like you pretty much, it makes it to where it's more, I would figure it would be more inclusive with all different types of body shapes, different types of nationalities, different types of cultures.
yeah.
I would just assume that.
It just
So-
depends on who you're shooting with as well.
Okay.
Might be the company. They have a specific image that they have their girls looking.
Okay, that makes
Mm.
Like
sense.
Vixen. Very specific. Like with Vixen, their girls are just like top tier ladies. Like they are just, they're my favorite.
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, I like the Vixen girls. They're just so beautiful. But they're all like, they're not all the same size. Like you have like shorter, got talls, you got bigger boobs, smaller boobs. Like you have variety with them.
Oh, I like that.
And that's
I like
just
that.
what I think. That's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, and as a consumer, I prefer the bodies to look real. And to
I
me,
want
that's-
like the girl next door
Exactly.
type body. Like
Yes.
just a normal body, not
Yeah.
too tight or too small. Like give me some fat. I want meat on them bones.
Hey, girl.
I want that meat.
Same.
How did you, or I guess what was your opinion of the documentary, you know, going back and watching it? Did you think it was well done? Did you think it was biased at all? Because documentaries can easily, whatever lens they choose, whatever story they choose to spin, they can do it. And so I'm
Yeah.
interested what you thought of it.
Well, with the audience that they were trying to attract, obviously, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
It was still a very well put together documentary. It was a very well documentary, but for the most part, when I think of how my story should have been told, I feel like they kind of shadowed me out from that. They're like, we're gonna make your life look like this instead.
Yeah, the storyline was very much you guys having a blast at first.
Mhm.
Everything's great. You're making money.
And
you're
then they
going
just made it
out.
look so bad.
Yeah.
They did, because it's so interesting talking to you, because your experience wasn't that bad. Like you
I
had
didn't-
a lot of highlights
I
from
didn't
it.
have a bad experience
Yeah.
in the industry. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I was having the time of my life. Like I wasn't sad. I wasn't anxious. I wasn't depressed. Shit. Like
It wasn't until you went home.
it was only until I went home that all that shit would just like pile on me. And I'm like, all right, obviously there's something that's like wrong. I either need to just stick with this and do my own thing, or I just need to come back home. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll just try this whole let's get married and have a family
Normal life. Yeah.
normal life. And I'm like, no, that's not for me.
Hey, girl.
It's
Kudos.
not for me.
Respect.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad we're talking about it, because you never know with a documentary. I mean, documentaries will, whatever message they want to portray is what you're going to believe as a viewer. Like, oh my God, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And so now I'm talking to you, I'm like, that's such an interesting, it's nice to know what your actual experience was. Yeah.
And a lot of people always think that I was just like this little girl,
Yeah.
like fragile, delicate thing. And I'm like, no, that was a hard ass. Like I was pissed off that I didn't get to do whatever I wanted to do because they wanted to just ground me again. And it's like, I don't want to be grounded. I want to be free.
Hey, girl.
Yeah.
Free.
And now
Let
you're
me
doing
be
what
free.
you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make my money the way I want to. You know?
Love it. Well, now you're grown. You've experienced life a little bit, and you're like, no, this is who I am. This is what I want. I'm going
to just do it.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
And if my parents and my family want to be up by my side, awesome. If not, okay.
Do you have a close relationship with them
No.
like today?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
We have a close relationship now. I mean, shit, it's been like 10 years of just like working on our relationships, because after I left to come live here with Kendall, me and my dad, we actually didn't speak for like over a year and a half.
Wow.
Like we did not, like I would still send him like happy birthday, Merry Christmas, Thanksgiving, stuff like that. Nothing. I wouldn't get anything back until I was like, until I told him that Kendall was starting to like act up and be abusive. Then he was like, okay, like come back home. We can regroup. Let's talk. Let's figure out what we're going to do. Okay. And then that's when me and my dad started to work on our relationship more.
And started repairing.
So Kendall, I mean, you know, speaking of like documentary, looking however once, you know, they wanted to look, and maybe this wasn't them trying to like manipulate the story, but Kendall seems so like nice, normal, and supportive. Normal. Very and like great guy in the documentary. And, you know, hearing from you now, like that ended up not being the case at all with him.
He turned against me pretty much. He did like a full 180 when him and my mom were talking to me on the couch in the documentary. So yeah, it was like, it was so annoying because we were talking for over an hour and a half, and I just felt like we were just talking in circles until my mom's like, you know what, Kendall, if you want that, have it.
I mean, he got shamed, it seems like.
Yeah. So I'm just like, well, thanks for making me feel like a whore, Mom. Thanks for making me feel like I'm a prostitute or like a soulless person. Like, damn, all I want to do is make money and have sex.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So have they changed their tune as far as like the way they look at your work, or do they still just not? It's like something you just don't talk about?
We don't talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we don't mention it. We don't bring it up. We don't bring it to the surface. And whoever does will hear the wrath of my father.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
So,
okay.
I'm just like, well, if anyone's going to talk shit, they might as well like let my dad hear it. Let my dad take care of all that, because like if my family's going to talk shit about me, I don't care. Like they're going to do it regardless. They don't live in my life. Like they're not here with me every day. They don't walk in my shoes. So it's like,
it's probably better for y'all's relationship not to talk about it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that probably brought us a lot closer than whenever I was little, because my dad, like we would go hunting and do a bunch of different trips like that. So I think when that all went down and then regrouping just made us a lot stronger.
Okay. Do you know if they got any like flack or any like response from peers as far as like after that film came out?
From what I'm aware of, no one is going to approach my father about his daughter being in the industry. Hey. I think most men would probably find that disrespectful to approach another man about his daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm especially curious about your mother, though, because women talk. We talk.
From what I'm aware of, my mom hasn't had anyone approach her about me. But I don't know. We all, like, my parents, they're really good at keeping secrets. So if they have secrets, they can keep them to the grave. I don't need it.
Oh, girl. No, I feel what you're saying, like, hardcore. Like, I definitely relate to it because I am the rainbow sheep of the family. So I know.
I'm the black sheep.
Hey, girl. Hey. Sheep to sheep. Sheep to sheep. But yeah, so I know that my identifier with a lot of my family is I'm the lesbian cousin or I'm the lesbian aunt, whatever it is. And I do know that a lot of them don't believe in my lifestyle, so I do know I get talk shit.
How do you not believe in love? I'm so sorry, but like, you love someone, that's like that's real, that's legitimate. Like, what the fuck?
It contradicts with their faith, though, and it contradicts with their
I understand them being probably old-fashioned, but get with the times, honey. Sorry, but
but seriously though, like when someone's like, "Oh, I don't believe in it," I'm like, well, it's literally happening right in front of your face. Yeah, there's nothing to believe, right?
But I react the same way that you do, where I was like, okay, well, you can have your beliefs, you can talk your shit, you can hate however you want.
I'm still gonna live my life.
I'm still gonna and to be honest, I feel like I'm happier than you are because I'm actually living my truth and I'm not in a little box that someone decided for me, right?
Yep.
So yeah, there's a little bit of empowerment that I get from being queer. Yeah. So I'm assuming it's kind of you get like this little empowerment of like I get to do what the fuck I want and no one gets to say shit.
Exactly. I mean, I have my own place, I have my own car, like I pay for most of my stuff. But it's like no one can tell me shit.
Love it.
Like no one can tell me anything. And I love just being able to have that kind of lifestyle now because it's what I've been craving since I was 19 years old. So I'm finally here now, and it's like, man, I'm just going to start listening to my own heart from now on, because my head gets a little confusing sometimes. So it's like, in my heart, what do I really, really want to do?
Girl, yes.
And I'm going to do it.
Damn right. So are there any scenes, like specific scenes that you felt very empowered in?
Empowerment, damn. I was not really like the dominant one ever. I'm a natural sub, so like I didn't really do too much dominance on anyone, or like felt like I was like on top of the world. I feel like I'm always superior when I come though. Like if they just make me come, then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working it right now. I'm working it.
No, I'm getting power bottom vibes from, you know.
Absolutely. I'm definitely power bottom. For sure, power bottom.
Love it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, girl. No,
but no specific scenes really like come out to me. The only ones that I really think about still to like this day is anything with Tony Rubino or Carter Cruz. Those are like my two favorites that I just favorite talents.
Was it just because you had attraction, or was it
attraction, working with them, their personalities off camera and on camera, the chemistry that we would have? Oh my God, it's just, I just wish that we could have a threesome. That would be so hot. That would be so hot.
All right, you hear that, guys?
Tony's
asking.
But I don't know if Carter's in the industry anymore. I know that she went to DJing, so she's doing her music career, flourishing in that. So I'm all for her with that. And Tony, he's been in the industry for over 20 years, so he knows the game. He knows how to play.
Now that you're in a lot of control over the scenes you have and what you're producing, do you notice a difference in like the views or the things that people will pay for when it comes to like scenes that you really, really, really enjoy, like they were really pleasurable for you to make, versus some that are maybe vanilla?
Honestly, no. Really, I can't really think of any, because the world is so freaking huge, and I think I have like over 1 million views with all of my videos put together. So like, I don't really know how to like even determine that, but so
you don't do anything like you won't you don't look at the analytics for?
No, I don't look at like the lot, like any of that, like seeing like views, likes, or anything. Like I just post
what you want,
what I want, and if someone likes it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. Like I don't give a shit. I'm living my life. I'm having the time of my life right now. No one could really like just be like, you suck. I suck dick. Yes, very well. I suck dick very well.
All right.
Well, I have one more question for her, but I didn't know if you had any more questions for her. My question is kind of like my final question, I guess. But what advice would you have for anyone who's entering the amateur porn industry or joining OnlyFans or anything, right? Like, what advice would you have for someone who's new?
Have a backbone. Have a backbone, because if you don't have that, you're going to have people that are just going to push you in different directions, and then you are going to lose yourself. Like you have to have a great backbone, and you have to know what you want and what you don't want before you even get started. Like, I don't want to have anal. I don't want to do this, X, Y, and Z, whatever. And then just make sure that you find yourself a trustworthy agent that will book you, that will also get good photographer to take still photos of you, and just market you the way that you need to.
Just treat your body like a business, basically.
Yes, absolutely. Because your body is what's selling. So you got to keep that perfect, or in your eyes, or in their eyes, in the best condition possible.
Basically market it well, best marketers, best photographers. But yeah.
And they also have to just remember that it's going to be on the internet. People will see it, and they have to be comfortable with going back to their hometown or going back home or wherever out in public. Even here in Dallas, like I'm a little nervous. Not gonna lie, I get a little nervous every time I come to Dallas.
Oh, really?
I do. Never know.
The timeline confused me on the documentary. Were you in the DFW while you were still in the industry, or was this after you came home?
This was after I came home.
Okay.
So because I was living with Kendall part-time-ish, because like I would fly down for like a week to see him and then work for 3 weeks.
Got it. Okay.
That was my schedule. So I would have a bag at his place already, but we officially moved in together when it was in the documentary.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was somewhat in Arlington, DFW while I was working in the industry.
Hey, here in Agtown. Okay.
Yep.
So the one big thing I wanted to ask, because the one thing that a lot of people think when they think about the porn industry, they think about the adult industry at all, is that they worry that it's exploitative, right? And we have a lot of sex workers who are in the industry who are like, no, it's empowering. And I do remember hearing someone who was commenting actually on, it was a YouTube video commenting on Hot Girls Wanted. And I believe her name is Veronica Vane. And she basically said that there is no empowerment. There's not just empowerment in the industry. There's not just exploitative. It's not black and white. It's not, one or the other. It's gray area. It's both. So I guess what, in your opinion, as someone who is in the industry, what parts were exploitative?
I never felt like I was exploited because I didn't have anyone that was trying to be malicious or anything to like degrade me or like put me down or like my career. So it's like I didn't have that. I was in a very supportive house with a bunch of girls that wanted and loved to do the same thing, and a very supportive agent as well. So it's like I didn't really get exploited. I didn't feel like I did, at least.
Okay, good.
So I don't know about the other girls, but I know for my point of view in doing the industry, I didn't feel like I got exploited. And
I feel like after talking to you, it's about that backbone. So that's why you give that big advice of you need to have a backbone. You need to have conviction on what your no's are.
Yes.
And that pretty much, it seems like that would be the only way you would get exploited is if you start letting them run all over you.
Yep. If you're weak-minded and you just don't have that backbone.
Okay.
So it's easy to be taken advantage of, but you have the power to stop that, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just have to have that mindset going into this industry. Like you have to be strong-willed. Like you can't let anyone like really bother you or talk shit about you online. Like you need to just focus on you, do your work, and make your money.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And then just before we close out, the other thing I also want to bring up in the documentary that did shock me even is the medical aspect of it.
Yeah.
So is that normal for you to have, like, I guess not normal, but is that common almost for there to be some medical issues that come up that you kind of have to work through?
Not work through, not necessarily. It just depends on the severity. With mine, Bartholin cyst, I was just having way too much sex that one of my tubes that moistens my vagina just got clogged.
Okay.
Just too much moisture. Too much moisture. So that was like my only downfall. But other girls will get like really gnarly ingrowns, like some gnarly ones, and then you can't film that because you can see it, and then it looks like they got something. It's like you don't want to film when you look like that. And you also got to remember with some people, they might have hemorrhoids. So if you have a hemorrhoid, you can't shoot it, especially if you're doing anal. Can't do that.
That's fair too.
So it just depends on like your background, your medical history, and just taking that into effect as well.
Okay. Was the cyst the only medical issue that you've had so far?
Yeah, it's the only one I've ever had.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay.
I have not gotten like an STD or any sort of diseases. I've never even gotten chlamydia. And someone told me the other day, they said, if you haven't gotten the clap, you're not living.
What?
I swear. I was like, excuse me?
I guess I'm not living.
Apparently, I'm not living either. I thought I was living it up.
Oh, girl.
But I was like, if you haven't had the clap, you're not living.
Girl, I love your perspective. It seems like you're enjoying what you want to do. You're happy. You're enjoying your lifestyle. You have a lot of control. You have like this creative freedom that you got. Like it's really awesome to see.
Thanks. I'm really happy finally. Once in my life.
That's good.
I'm finally happy. I'm not in a stressful relationship or an unloving relationship, and it's just I love just being by myself and doing me and my having my dogs, living my life, traveling. So I couldn't really ask for anything more, really, except maybe more traveling.
Hey.
That would be the only thing.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're so glad that we got to have you on and talk with you today. We really appreciate it. We think our listeners will really appreciate it as well.
But actually, I want to. Do you want to plug anything that you have?
Oh, yeah.
Plug. This is
Like what? Like
your OnlyFans.
Oh,
your
like my
how they
OnlyFans?
find you.
Or it could be like follow me on Instagram or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like you guys can definitely follow me on Instagram. I also have a Twitter. That one's gonna be under my Stella May account, so it'll be the real Stella May or at real Stella May. And my OnlyFans will be OnlyFans Stella May. So
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, and we will we'll include links
Yeah.
where you can
works.
find Tressa as well.
Yeah,
So
that works.
great. So yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in to listen and also to listen to Tressa again. So thankful that she's here. We are Sex Positivity Unfiltered, and remember to stay curious and fuck politeness.
Fuck politeness.
Hey,
I
girl.
like that.
Yes.
I love that.